During the intense days of the Cold War in the late 1940s, the world was gripped by a relentless arms race between the United States and the Soviet Union. The atomic bombs that had ended World War II had shown their terrifying power, but they were not enough to satisfy the ambitions of the superpowers. Each sought to develop a weapon so devastating that it would force their adversary into submission without a fight. In secret laboratories across the United States, some of the greatest minds of the 20th century gathered under the leadership of Edward Teller, a Hungarian physicist whose eyes reflected both boundless ambition and deep anxiety over the possibility of Soviet dominance. Here, the idea that would forever change the course of warfare was born: the hydrogen bomb. The beginning, inspired by the stars. Scientists had long known that the sun, a fiery ball burning for billions of years, derived its immense energy from nuclear fusion, a process in which hydrogen atoms fuse to form helium, releasing unimaginable amounts of energy. Teller and his team wondered, why not replicate this process on Earth? If the sun is nature's ultimate nuclear reactor, why can't we create our own version? But the challenge was monumental. Nuclear fusion required temperatures and pressures far beyond what was achievable at the time. It was then that the scientists conceived a revolutionary idea: use an atomic bomb as the trigger for an even more powerful hydrogen bomb. The breakthrough, the Teller-Ulam design. In 1951, Edward Teller and Polish physicist Stanislaw Ulam developed a groundbreaking design for the hydrogen bomb, later known as the Teller-Ulam configuration. The concept was elegant in theory, but extremely complex in practice. 1. A small atomic bomb would be detonated first, producing incredible heat and pressure. 2. This heat and pressure would compress and ignite nuclear fuel made of hydrogen isotopes, deuterium and tritium. 3. The fusion reaction would release energy on a scale hundreds of times greater than that of a traditional atomic bomb. This design was a scientific masterpiece, but it also marked the birth of a weapon with the potential to annihilate entire cities in an instant. The test: unleashing the beast. On November 1st, 1952, the time came to test this terrifying creation. Scientists and engineers gathered at a remote island in the Pacific Ocean called Enewetak Atoll. The bomb, nicknamed Ivy Mike, was enormous, weighing over 10 tons. It wasn't yet a practical weapon, but it was the first step toward realizing the power of nuclear fusion. As dawn approached, the countdown began. Everyone stood miles away from the detonation site, wearing protective goggles. The moment the button was pressed, the sky lit up with colors no one had ever seen before. A giant fireball expanded rapidly, glowing white-hot, then shifting to orange and red. A massive mushroom cloud rose 17 kilometers into the atmosphere, leaving a crater 2 kilometers wide on the island. The explosion was beyond anything the world had ever witnessed. With a yield of 10.4 megatons, it was hundreds of times more powerful than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. The scientists were thrilled by their success, but also awestruck by the sheer destructive force they had unleashed. This was not just a weapon of war, it was a symbol of absolute power. The aftermath, the race for destruction. After the successful test, a frenzied race began to develop more practical versions of the hydrogen bomb. The Soviet Union was not far behind, and in 1961 they detonated the largest hydrogen bomb in history, the Tsar Bomba, with a yield of 50 megatons, enough to obliterate a city the size of Paris. The hydrogen bomb forever changed the nature of warfare. Wars were no longer about military confrontations alone, but about a balance of terror. Possessing such a weapon meant possessing the power to end civilization as we know it. Thus, the hydrogen bomb was born from a mix of scientific genius and the madness of power. It is a story of human ingenuity, but also a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked ambition.